Hello everyone, my name is Partho Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical Engineering, JS College of Engineering, West Bengal, India. Welcome to my class. So as you can see, today's topic is equivalent circuit of single phase induction motor. So first we will see in this particular module that what is the equivalent circuit of a stator circuit and the rotor circuit, then how we can combine that to what is the approximated equivalent circuit diagram that we are going to do today. So let us start. So what is first we will start with that what is an induction equivalent circuit. So equivalent circuit of an induction motor enables the performance characteristics which are evaluated for steady state conditions. An induction motor is based on the principle of induction of voltages and currents. The voltage and current is induced in the rotor circuit from the stator current for the generation. The equivalent circuit of an induction motor is similar to that of the transformer. So what we can say that the equivalent circuit is basically is representing us the performance characteristics of different circuits. So previously when we have done the in our previous syllabus, basically in the fourth semester of your BTech electrical engineering, there we have done that transformer chapter, and you have done the three-phase induction motor chapter, and there you have seen that what is the equivalent circuit diagram. So more and less the equivalent circuit diagram of this induction motor, single phase induction motor, is almost same. So let us see what the contents for today. So what are the contents? The contents are the stator circuit model, rotor circuit model, approximate equivalent circuit of an induction motor. So first we will start with the stator circuit model, then after deriving that we will go for the rotor circuit model, then we will go for the approximation, and from there we will try to find out the parameters value, and then we will try to find out the different equations regarding that. So let us start today. So first one is the stator circuit model. So if we think of about the construction of a single phase induction motor, then we can find out that uh, in the stator of single phase induction motor there is a main winding. So that main winding is the stator winding, we can say. So a winding means it has some resistance, at the same time it has some reactance. So the equivalent circuit diagram, that it is represented over here. So follow my pointer. So as we can see over there, this V1 is the supply voltage over here, and due to that a current is flowing, that is I1, and the circuit resistance is given here. So as you can see that there is R1 and there is a X1. So at the same time, in parallel with the circuit, you can say that there is R0 and X0. So what are those? So that thing we have to find out now. And as we can see that the I1 current is flowing like that, and it is when it is coming to the branch of it is taken the name of I0, and that current is dividing into two branches. One branch we have the resistance that will be responsible for the losses of the circuit, and this X0 is the reactance of the circuit for which the magnetizing fluxes will be generated. The no load current I0 is simulated by a pure inductive reactance X0 taking the magnetizing component I mu, and a non-inductive resistance R0 carrying the core loss component, that is IW. That means here it is told that I0 current is the vector summation of this I mu and IW. So what is I mu and IW? So I mu is the magnetizing current, that is actually due to this amount of current, actually the whatever fluxes are producing, that fluxes are producing due to this amount of current. And there is another current that is known as IW, that is namely wattful current. That current is actually we are not getting at the output side. This current is the loss current, actually we should say, or the energy component. Okay, next the total magnetizing current I0 is considerably larger in case of the induction motor as compared to a transformer. So here we can see that the current I0 is the value of I0 is higher than with respect to the transformer case. So in case of transformer, we have seen that the value of this I0 is 2 to 5% of its full load current. But in case of single phase induction motor, we can find out that this current value is approximately 25% to 40% of its rated current. And that's why the we can say that the value of magnetizing current, the magnetizing reactance X0 is very small. Otherwise, the value of current will be no higher. Okay, so we can say that the value of the magnetizing reactance X0 is very small in an induction motor. So this is, and now the point that the question appears in your mind, that is why this current value is higher in case of single phase induction motor. The reason behind is that as there is a higher reluctance caused by the air gap of the induction motor. So in case of transformer, we can say that the primary and the secondary, both sides are stationary. But in case of single phase induction motor, the stator is the stationary, but the rotor is the rotating part of the machine. So it is offering higher reluctance path. So that's why, so it needs higher current, okay, for the magnetization purpose. Now coming to the rotor circuit. So for this, first let us see what is written over here, then we will going to discuss. When a three-phase supply is applied to the stator winding, voltage is induced. A voltage is induced in the rotor winding of the machine. The greater will be the relative motion of the rotor and the stator magnetic fields, the greater will be the resulting rotor voltage. The largest relative motion occurs at the standstill condition. This condition is also known as the locked rotor or blocked rotor condition. If the induced rotor voltage at this condition is E20, then the induced voltage at any slip is given by the equation below. So what is the equation? So as we have seen in case of three-phase induction motor previously, that when we are discussing in the synchronous machine also, we have seen that in case of single phase induction motor previously, when we have discussed about the equation, so there we have seen that here also we have the concept of slip, because the synchronous speed, the rotor speed and the flux speed, the rotating magnetic field has some difference, and due to that there is a concept of the existence of slip. So this E2S is equal to SE20. The rotor resistance is constant and is independent of the slip. As we can see, the reactance of the but the reactance of this rotor circuit depends upon the slip value. Why? Because the reactance is a frequency dependent component, and we know that the frequency is itself a slip dependent component. So when we are discussing about the reactance value, so then definitely it is depending upon the slip value. So we have to include, in case of reactance value, the slip component. So let us see how the equation is changing. So if we are considering over here, follow my pointer, if L2 is the inductance of the rotor reactance is given by the equation follow. So we know that X2 is equal to, we know that omega 2 into L2. Now what is omega? 2 pi F2. So now what is F2? F2 is equal to S into F1. So if we place that one, so we will get what? So instead of this one, we are placing over, instead of F2 we are placing over S into F1. So we can write down that one, X2 is equal to S into X20. So where X2 is the standstill reactance of the rotor. So the rotor circuit is become, so in the rotor circuit what we have a constant resistance, and in case of reactance we can say that it can be vary if the relative motion between the stator magnetic field and the rotor speed, if there is a relative motion, it is, if this relative motion is changing, that means we can say that the slip is changing, and if the slip is changing, so the frequency is changing, if the frequency is changing, so the reactance is changing. So like this way we can say that depending upon the slip, the reactance value is may change, but the rotor resistance is always fixed. So we can say that this is the equivalent circuit diagram for the rotor circuit. What is the equivalent circuit diagram? So this is the induction effect. E2S is equal to SE20. Okay, so due to that we have a current, that is I2, and that is flowing through the rotor circuit, and rotor circuit contains some resistance, some reactance. The resistance value is given where, that is R2, and the reactance value is given here to X2S, that is given by SX20. Okay, so what is the rotor impedance? So rotor impedance is given by this one. So follow my pointer, Z2S is equal to R2 plus JX2S. Okay, so where if we want to change this X2S in terms of X20, so we have to introduce here the slip. So R2 plus JS X20. Okay, so now the rotor current per phase, it is given by the equation. We know it is very simple, the Ohm's law. I2S is equal to E2S by Z2S. So okay, so now if we convert the all components in terms of standstill condition, so E2S will be converted in, it will be replaced by E20 in terms of slip. Again this we can replace that impedance is already replaced by the standstill reactance. So the equation become I2S is equal to 2SE20 by R2 plus JSX20. So here I2 is the slip frequency current produced by a slip frequency induced voltage SE20 acting in the rotor circuit having an impedance of Z2S, where Z2S is equal to R2 plus SJSX20. Okay, so see this is the if we want to some little bit change in the equation, so we can divide the equation by S. So then the equation will be like this. So where R2 is a constant resistance and a variable leakage reactance SX20. So similarly the rotor circuit shown below has a constant leakage reactance of X20 and a variable resistance of R2 by S. So the above equation explains the secondary circuit of a imaginary transformer with a constant voltage ratio and with the same frequency of both sides. This imaginary stationary rotor carries the same current as the actual rotating rotor. This makes possible to transfer the secondary rotor impedance to the primary rotor side. So that is the referring to the primary to secondary or secondary to primary. So like this we can refer. So now we are going to combine that to stator circuit and rotor circuit, and now we are going to we are going to find out the approximated equivalent circuit diagram of this single phase induction motor. So now, when we have to combine that two, so we have to refer the values from either primary to secondary, that means from stator to rotor side or rotor to stator side. Now the question may appear why. So because we know that in the concept of mathematics, we have seen that if we have to calculate something, so say we cannot directly add 1 kilometer with 1 millimeter. So we have to convert either both into kilometer or either both into millimeter. So we need the same characteristics, so both should have, so that we can add or subtract the both components, the both resistance, both side resistance, both side reactance, those value. So that's why for the simplicity of the calculation, if when we are referring, so we have to refer the resistance value, we have to refer the reactance value, so that we can make the calculation and we can simplify the equation a simpler circuit one. Okay, so thus equivalent circuit is further simplified by shifting the shunt impedance branches, that is R0 and X0 to the input terminal as shown in the circuit below. See, if we go for the previous diagram, previous stator diagram, so there we have seen that there is R1 X1, follow my pointer, there is R1 X1. After that we have the R0 and X0. Now for the simplicity of the calculation, see what we have done. So we have shifted the shunt branch component to the before of this R1 and X1. Okay, why we have done that? So that this R1, R2 and X1, X2, those components, obviously the secondary, the rotor components will be referred to the primary. So those components can be added directly to the R1 and to the X1. So for that purposes we have shifted the shunt component. The approximate circuit is based on the assumption that V1 is equal to E1, that is equal to the E2 bar. In the above circuit, the only component that depends on the slip is the resistance. All the other quantities are constant. So we can say that in case of this particularly approximated equivalent circuit diagram, so what is the total impedance of the circuit? So okay, so the total impedance ZAA bar is given by the total resistance. What is the total resistance? R1 plus R2 bar by S, that is S is the slip, plus J into X1 plus X2 bar. So we can find out the I2 current, that is I2 current is flowing through this one. So I2 bar current is given by V1 by ZAA bar. Putting the value of ZAA bar in the equation equation 7 in the equation 8, so we know this is the Z, follow my pointer, this is the Z, and here is the ZAA bar. So if we put the equation 7's value into the equation 8, so what we will get? So we will get this one definitely. So what we have got over here, so I2 bar is equal to V1 by R1 plus R2 bar by S plus J X1 plus X2 bar. So this is the current equation we will get when we are considering the referred value from secondary, that means from the rotor side to the stator side. Therefore what we can say, so this is the previous equation. So here I2 bar is equal to, if we take that one, that is mod of I2 bar that is equal to the into V1 by under root R1 plus R2 bar by S whole square plus J X1 plus X2 bar whole square. So hence this I2 bar is equal to I2 bar cos phi 2 minus J I2 bar sin phi 2, where this tan phi 2 is equal to X1 plus X2 bar by R1 plus R2 bar by S. Okay, so what is the cos phi 2? Cos phi 2 is the power factor. So now we want to find out this power factor. So that power factor is given by, we know that the AC fundamental chapter, so basic concept of AC circuit, that is R by Z. So what is total R over here? That is the R1 plus R2 bar by S and by the total impedance of the circuit, that is given by ZAA bar. Now one question may appear to you that why we are not considering that X0 and R0, because those are the actually no load component of the circuit. That means whenever in the rotor circuit there may be load, may not be load. So with load or without load, in both case that IW, so that the existence of that R0 and X0 can be find out. So that's why that is not taken into consideration in this condition when we have the R1 existence of R1 X1 and existence of R2 X2, and when we are referring that R2 X2 in the stator side, that is converting into R2 dash R2 bar by S and X2 bar. Okay, so the no load current, now we are going that the no load current I0 is given by I mu plus IW. Already we have discussed that. Now I mu is equal to, can we write down this V1 by R0 plus V1 by JX0? How we can write down? So to find out that, again coming back to the stator circuit. Okay, so we know that this is these two resistance terminal and this reactance terminal both are parallel to this V1. So we can say that across this R0 we have a V1 voltage, across this X0 we have V1 voltage. So now if we say that this I0 is the summation, follow my pointer, if this I0 is the summation of this IW plus I mu, so we can write down that this IW is equal to whatever voltage is appearing across the resistance terminal by resistance, and I mu is equal to whatever voltage is appearing across this terminal by this X0. So what is the voltage appearing across the terminal? That is the supply voltage V1. So that's why yes, so we are writing down that is V1 by R0 plus V1 by JX0. So now if we take V1 common over there, and if we multiply with this complex conjugate by with the denominator and the numerator, that is J, then there is a minus 1 will appear over there. So V1 1 minus 1 by R0 minus J 1 by X0. The stator current is given by the equation shown below. So what is the stator current? That is the total current flowing in the stator side, that is the I2 bar plus I0. Okay, so now we want to find out the total core loss are given by the equation shown below. So here the total core loss is given by 3V1 I0 cos phi 0. Stator input is given by 3V1 I1 cos phi 1, where V1 is the supply voltage and I1 is the stator current flowing through the stator, and phi cos phi 1 is the power factor. Okay, and stator input, then we can write down this 3V1 I2 bar cos phi 2 plus that PHE. So that is given by that stator input is given by this 3 I2 square into R1 plus R2 bar by S plus PH plus E. So that is the stator input power. So now we can say the air gap power as per phase is given by Pg, that is equal to V1 I2 bar cos phi 2. So those are actually the mathematical expression. I think you will very easily understand this one. I am not going to for that detailed discussion. So where that is V1 I2 bar cos phi 2 is equal to I2 bar into R2 bar by S is equal to V1 square R2 bar by S by R1 plus R2 bar by 2 square plus X1 plus X2 bar whole square. So what is the torque at the end? We can find out. So what is the torque value? The developed torque is given by the equation. So what is the torque equation? That is TD is equal to developed torque is given by the tau is equal to PG by omega S. So what is PG? PG already we have discussed that previous equation by omega S. So that is the torque equation that we can find out over here. So this is all about the this is the torque equation of an induction motor. So and whatever we have discussed before, that is the equivalent circuit diagram. So first we have to derive the equivalent circuit diagram. First we have to see what is the stator model, what is the rotor model. Now we have to convert either stator to the rotor or rotor to the stator, so that we can find out a approximated equivalent circuit diagram of single phase induction motor, and that's why there is a little bit change in the resistance value when we are transferring. So okay, this is all for today. I think you are now able to understand. Okay, thank you.